Stephanie, you were a student here and now as the chair of the science department. Science has changed over the last decades. What are some ways that you have seen it evolve both as a scientist and then as a teacher?
Well, I think we've seen a big change going from just traditional science classes being like biology, chemistry, physics, and we obviously offered the AP classes back when I was a student here as well, but there's a lot more choice right now. There's a lot of opportunity for kids to actually choose a class that they might be interested in taking. We offer an engineering class, we offer organic and biochemistry, we have a brand new class called Research in Molecular Genetics, which is our Fly Lab, and we're also building some really great courses for next year. We have a food science class, and we're also actually going to offer a psychology class.
So we have seen the enrollment in science really skyrocket. What do you attribute that excitement and those kinds of enrollments from our student body?
I think it's just having an opportunity to pursue something that they're interested in. There's actually a lot of research behind the fact that you can get more kids involved in science by having choices and allowing kids to choose a class that they're actually interested in and maybe pursuing later on in their life. And I think that the more kids we can get interested in science, the better our world's going to be, because we've got a lot of problems, we've got a lot of questions, and we need a lot of different opinions, and we need a lot of different kinds of kids that think differently to be able to answer those later. So our 6th graders come in and they take a really great class about earth science, and they do a lot of hands-on activities. They model plate tectonics with cake and brownies, which they absolutely love because they get to eat the cake and the brownies when they're done smashing them together. And in 7th grade, we have a life science. It's a little bit of a life science, field science curriculum, so kids are outside and they're learning all kinds of great things about nature, animals, but they're also learning about cells. They do some microscopy. And then in 8th grade, we have a brand new class which is called Modeling Physical Science, and it's all project-based, so it's all experimental, hands-on, inquiry-driven. And then in grades 9 and 10, students can choose biology or chemistry. They take whichever one sort of lines up not only with their interests, but the direction they want to go in when they get to grades 10, 11, and 12. And then 10th, 11th, and 12th, they can pretty much choose whatever they want.
When you say inquiry-based science, how is that different than perhaps the science the parents of our students took or that we took? And then where does the scientific method, hypothesis, lab work also fit into this?
When you and I took science, I would go into the classroom and there was, or a lab, and there would be a lab that had been designed that we knew the answer to. And then there were a series of questions at the end of it that, after you went through the whole procedure, you would hopefully have the right answer to those questions. Inquiry-based science is a little bit different. That's when we're actually asking the kids to ask a question. They need to design the question and then they need to figure out a way to answer that. In my AP biology class, one of the examples I use, it's a little bit like baking a cake. You have a recipe to work from, but what I do is I bring these kids in and they need to figure out how to find the osmolarity of a potato core. And I say, okay, you've got potatoes, you've got a knife, and you've got these 5 solutions. Here's the molarity of these solutions. You need to design an experiment to figure out what the molarity of that potato cell is.
What are some ways that we augment the science curriculum and allow pursuits of inquiry and experimentation outside of just straight coursework?
We have a lot of clubs in the science department. We have the traditional ones. We have Science Olympiad for middle school and high school, and we have Science Bowl for middle school and high school, and those are very popular clubs. But we have a lot of other ones too. We have an environmental club, which is different than the garden club. We have both of those, and some of those students are in both clubs. And then we actually have a new club this year called the Chicken Club. And it's little 6th graders that come early in the morning to feed and care for the chickens, and they absolutely love it. Another one of our 6-7 clubs is the Fun Guy Club. That is probably the largest club in the science department. I think we had almost 60 kids in it last year.
It seems that our science program is really accessible and available to every student that is here, whether they're in the highest levels of calculus or are really new to science and the scientific method. our students understand that there is a space for them in our science curriculum simply by the numbers. That in fact we have many students are taking 2 sciences or doubling up, so to speak, and it's really a testament to the broad array of courses that they have there.
I mean, I would like to see more classes like our Fly Lab. I love our Fly Lab in that students are actually doing real science. They're contributing to the research that scientists need done right now in the world, and the flies that they're making are actually being used by scientists internationally to solve real-world medical problems. When we're in that class, we often don't know the answers. The students come up with great questions, and we consult with our professors at Stanford, the students talk with them, and we figure it out from there. And I would love to see more science where students are actually doing open-ended, inquiry-based, not knowing the answer kind of science.
Right.
We also have a forensics class, and we have a lot of kids that, they got to see a CSI and they got really interested in it. And they do everything from blood spatter to we buy chickens, not with the feathers on them, but we buy whole fryers and they bury them around campus in different locations, and they monitor the decomposition process, and they love it, actually. I'm really proud of these classes because it gives all of our students a way to access science in a way that's interesting for them.
Well, Stephanie, I'm so proud of what we offer here at the Academy and the collaborative nature of the science department in constantly reevaluating what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, and how we can make it relevant and accessible to all of our kids. So well done.
Well, thank you.